Tonight we pause to celebrate Civil Air Patrol members' 75 years of service to America in a most fitting setting, the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy National Air and Space Museum. I'd like to ask our co-host, General John R. Dailey, and our National Commander, Major General Joseph Vasquez, to please come forward.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jack Dailey, the John and Adrian Mars Director of the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this evening to the Stephen Udvar-Hazy Center. As we celebrate one of this country's truly great service organizations, the Civil Air Patrol. 75 years ago today, the CAP was chartered as a critical part of the civilian defense of the United States. Just 7 days later, the importance of general aviation to the national defense became apparent when Pearl Harbor came under attack. By the end of the war, the brave volunteers of the Coastal Patrol had flown millions of miles, pushing the enemy back from our shores at great and sometimes total personal sacrifice. Following great successes in World War II, the CAP became the benevolent organization we know today. With three-part mission of rendering emergency service in times of need, organizing cadet programs to develop future leaders, and promoting aerospace education to broaden access to aviation. As a civilian auxiliary of the United States Air Force, the organization's 60,000 volunteers all aid disaster relief efforts and fly search and rescue missions credited with saving nearly 100 lives every year. The cadet programs of the Civil Air Patrol have produced generations of leaders at every level of society, from aviation enthusiasts to heads of government, military, and business organizations across the country. The skills cadets learn today in CAP will serve local communities and the nation for years to come. The third part of the Civil Air Patrol's mission, aerospace education, is shared by the men and women of this museum. And it's never been more important. According to one recent study, the world needs 1 million new pilots and aviation technicians to meet the demand over the next 20 years. The work of inspiring and equipping the aviators and innovators of tomorrow begins today. And we are glad to share the task of the 60,000 patriotic volunteers of the CAP. On behalf of the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, I congratulate the Civil Air Patrol on 75 years of service. It's now my pleasure to introduce the National Commander of the Civil Air Patrol, Major General Joseph Vasquez.
In honor of our 75th anniversary, Civil Air Patrol commissioned aviation artist Rick Broom to create a painting titled Total Force Partners. This painting depicts a CAP Cessna 182 being intercepted by an Air Force F-16, something I call a truly religious experience. The painting was presented to Secretary James and General Goldfein in September. We are pleased to present a copy to General Dailey as a small token of our appreciation for all the support the Air and Space Museum has given CAP and the aviation community over the years. Thank you, General Dailey.